All right. It's 6:04 on Tuesday, April the 2nd, 2024 at 6 p.m. 6:04, excuse me. And I hereby call this meeting to order. Could you please bow your heads for invocation?
Lord, as we begin this meeting, we ask for your guidance, wisdom, and support. Fill us with your grace, granting us clear vision as we work together to make decisions. Help us to always seek to be an influence for good, and please bless all who are present here this evening, as well as all the citizens of Diamond Head, especially those who are struggling. We ask all these things in your holy name. Amen.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. City Clerk.
Mayor DeBrio.
Here.
Councilmember Finley. Here. Councilmember Lisi.
Here.
Councilmember Cumberland.
Here.
Councilmember Clark.
Here.
Councilmember Marr.
Could I get a motion to confirm or adjust agenda? Motion made by Councilman Finley to confirm. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
The next regularly scheduled City Council meeting will be held on April 16, 2024 at 6 p.m. in the City Council chambers located here at City Hall. Next, we have Mr. Frank Bordeaux, Cadence Insurance, coming to discuss our renewal policy.
Thank you all. And as I said last year, when we became Cadence Insurance, that next year we'll have a new name, and I was right. We are now Gallagher Insurance, and so nothing else has changed other than that. I think this will be the last name change we've had. We normally get one every 2 years. So I know before y'all have the renewal premiums in front of y'all. We have a slight increase on our property insurance. It's nowhere near as much as what we had indicated last year. The market softening very, very quickly, which is good for everybody here on the coast. And so we obviously recognize that. We had a 3% increase on our building value, and that valuation increase. We do believe that will start slowing down. We've been hit with valuation increases for the past 3 years, and we also see that slowing as well. So our hope is that the valuations start stabilizing, and we do continue to see rates improve. The inland marine portion, your values are down. They're probably going to decrease a little bit between now and renewal as we go through some of the new terms and conditions. One of the negatives that we're seeing is increased deductibles, but we're also start seeing what used to be on replacement cost valuation, especially in inland marine, going to ACV for older things that y'all own. And so we're going to take a look at those items as well. We are moving from our previous carrier and going with Ascot. It is a better program than what y'all's previous carrier would provide, and it's less expensive. And so definitely would recommend that. General liability, quite frankly, came in a lot better than what we anticipated. We anticipated a much larger increase, and that's purely due to our history, quite frankly. But all other things are better. I will say on the property, your premium's up a little bit, your deductibles are up a little bit, but they are offering higher sublimits and new sublimits that they wouldn't give us last few years. They also waived the co-insurance penalty. Last year, I think some of y'all will recall, it went from no co-insurance to 80%. We were able to get them to waive that 80% this year, which is very good at the time of loss. And so I'm asking the council to allow us to continue to work on this very last minute. We don't know. We're still pushing on our carriers. Is the market softening? We are starting to get carriers that will bend on some of the coverages or some of the premiums. And so it's not going to be any more than the $138.82. I hope we can do better, and we're working with legal and the administration to discuss the need to continue to carry uninsured motorists. And so as we work through that between now and the 8th. We still have some time, but I did want to present this obviously tonight. The next pages, y'all will see all the markets that we approach and their responses. We're really hitting at the minimum premium for a lot of these carriers, and most carriers have increased their minimum premium. However, last year they were pretty firm in their minimum premiums. We're starting to see them soften that approach a little bit as the added capacity is getting into the marketplace. So we will hopefully be able to improve on this between now and renewal date. So I can answer any questions that y'all may have as it relates to any line of coverage.
So if you're still shopping it, do you want us to hold off on approving it tonight?
Well,
No, we're gonna approve it
like
with
we
a
did,
cap on it, and you'll,
and that's what we did last year.
right.
We asked for y'all's approval to not exceed the amount that we know that we can bind today and give us to the very last minute to work on any improvements to terms and conditions that we can improve on.
I see there's a lot of new things under the ASCOT, like,
It's a much better
it
program.
really is. It's several new things that's added. Equipment hauling, 25,000.
Let me get to that page. Yeah, your deductibles are going up, but your deductibles were going up with your previous carrier. And so
Right.
your deductibles aren't any worse than what has been offered by any other carrier. What is good is these increased sublimits. Things that were just not included, weren't available to us over the past couple of years. We're definitely not as broad as we were 5 years ago on any line of coverage, but we will get there as this market continues to shift back into a soft market. We ask for everything every year, the broadest coverage we can possibly get. Typically, last year it's just no, this is our price, take it or leave it. And this year, the response has been a whole lot better.
Okay, is there any other questions? I guess that's all we have for you, Frank. Thank you very much, as always. You do an outstanding job.
Thank you. And my cell phone is available in here if any of y'all have any questions. I know it's a lot of information to go through. Just give me a call, and we can go through any particular line that y'all would like to go through.
All right, thank you very
Thanks.
much. City managers report?
Thank you, Mayor. Just give you a quick update on the projects we have going on and where we are. The Park 10 Road, we have a 270 calendar day project that's scheduled to end on June the 1st. We had some discussion today that project's kind of getting held up a little bit from measures outside their control. Trying to get the information back from them to see if there's going to have to be a change order to increase that contract date, but waiting to find out that answer. Currently, they're working on the lighting installation, curb and gutter. They're putting in French drains to help drain the water coming off of that sidewalk. Noma Drive restoration contract to return to the job site to complete the multimodal path area. It's prepping it right now to get that site ready for the concrete, or the concrete and then the pavers down on that one. So that contract is scheduled to end still May the 3rd now, as we have extended the time on that one. Bowview 2 project, the engineer's working still with the contractor to try to get the adjustment to the scope. They still have some issues back and forth that they're trying to work out. Engineer, unfortunately, has been out of town last week or last couple of weeks. So as soon as he gets back and gets that back under control, we can get that project moving forward and get a schedule and then a notice to proceed to be issued on that one. The bond paving project, waiting to hear back also from the engineer on the schedule to complete the punch list items. The punch list items very small. None of the actual asphalt work needed any additional work. It's just simply a few of the striping issues on the bikes, symbols that have broken since they were put down, and a couple other areas where the paint needs to be fixed. So should get that here very soon and get that project finished out. Montjoy Creek, unfortunately, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers is now requesting a revised permission application and a request for additional information. So the engineer's working on getting the permit and that information over to them. So it's going to slow that project back down a little bit, but hopefully we can get that information and permit application taken care of, and then get back on track to get that project started. Noma Drive Phase 1B, that's on your agenda tonight for advertising to rebid. You have the revised plans. Pretty much it's taking out the parking lot area and just putting in some minimal parking for now until we can get something else to get that parking lot taken care of. The Kaliki Way project had the pre-construction meeting Thursday of last week, and the notice to proceed was given to me this morning, so we'll get working on that. The major impact, which I've notified all the residents that signed up, as well as the emergency contacts and so forth, will be that they will close the road on Amoka Drive between Kaliki Court and Kaliki Place. The contractor expects that to be no more than 2 weeks to get the new culverts installed there. So that road will be closed. Luckily for Amoka, you can get there from 2 different sides, so everybody will still have access. It just may take them a little longer to get home every night. Bayou Drive, the pre-construction meeting we had also 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, and waiting on that notice to proceed and a schedule on that one. And that one's going to close that entire road, and then the new access road that we have will be used for those residents to get in and out until that project's complete. The Hilo projects, the engineer provided me an updated OPC for these 4 projects, which came in less than what we had planned for as far as through ARPA, so that's a good thing. And then, so we're currently waiting on 90% drawings. He contacted me today saying he's working on those and is just trying to get some final details done, and he'll get back with me. 2 projects that aren't ours, but will be affecting the city. The MDOT Roundabout project is still scheduled to proceed starting April the 15th. We are removing 2 low mast lights that are going to get removed out of the project altogether, and to save those in case we need them for later on. And then the rest of the interchange so they can get working on that project. Unfortunately, the biggest thing is that they expect, or they want the meter pulled on that whole project so that they can work safely on all the electrical that they're having to do there. So that interchange will be dark while that project's going on. I don't know if it'll be the entire time of the project, or at least while the electrical part's getting worked on, and then they'll turn it back on. The nice thing, as I was told, is there'll be a lot more lighting once they're finished for that whole intersection. So it'll have a lot of visual, or a lot of light once it's done, but we'll be dark for a little while. The other MDOT project is the Interstate Widening Project, which includes the multimodal path and the sound wall project. I'm sure you've seen the contractors out there clearing for that multimodal path and the sound wall. That is on their side of MDOT's property. From what I understood from the contractor, they're averaging somewhere between 5 to 7 feet away from their property line is where the multimodal path starts, and then where the sound wall, 10-foot wide multimodal path, and then there'll be a sound wall on the other side of that. So that project started on March 14th, and they're progressing on that one. Turnberry, the engineer's working on final drawings, and hopefully we'll have advertising request here on the April 16th council meeting. Colo Court, Hooley Place, and Khalil Street, those are all getting worked on by the engineers, and we should have a percentage of drawings, either 60 or 90% here in the next few weeks to get those moving. All these projects are ARPA projects, and as I've said before, hopefully, as you remember, all that has to be under contract by the end of August. So we've got to get everything done and get these contracts awarded to a contractor by August, or we would lose the funding from the state. The rest of the projects, no real changes to the Noma Drive Walking Trail, Dog Park, Boardwalk, detention ponds, or canal dredging. So we're just waiting on information from those, and hopefully we'll get something soon. And the rest of the ARPA projects are Go Mesa projects the engineers are working on, and we'll get some percentages of those drawings moving forward as well.
All right, thank you very much. Councilman Clark, do you have any questions?
Yeah. Let's see. when they're doing the overpass, is there any way we can try to get with them to get some generators out there for extra lighting, just for temporary, even if it's for a few hours?
I'll speak to MDOT.
Right.
That's not our property, so of course, we
No.
can't do that. But
Okay. Let's see. MDOT's property on I-10, is that coming from the interstate after they would add a line 5 to 7 feet, or is it coming from the city property line?
As I understood, it's coming from where the barbed wire fence is, which is their property line. They said about 3 to 5 to 7 feet from that fence towards the interstate and that's just simply because that's where the equipment is, how wide the equipment is to get in there. So that's why that's sort of their number there. And then that's where the walking path will start, 10 feet, and then there will be a sound wall. No one's actually said, and I have yet to get with an engineer to find out exactly if there's going to be some space in between where the walking track ends, that 10-foot width, and then where the sound wall is, or if the sound wall will be right up against that walking track, but somewhere in that same range. So all in all, around 15 feet total away from the property line.
Okay. Okay.
You're good? Do you want to announce your project you're doing April 21st?
Sure.
Okay.
So on April 21st, we are going to be doing our first event for Chalk or Walk. And it's going to be out here in front of the City Hall on April 21st at the Diamond Head Farmers Market. It's basically just going to be a fun event for everybody to come out and just draw on the sidewalk with some chalk. And then we're hoping to continue this as the farmer market continues also, and just grow it bigger and bigger, and hopefully everyone can enjoy it and make it a big, fun community event. So.
Thank you. I think it's going to be that's a very fun idea. It's going to be fun, and that's the Sunday markets. That's 11 to 3. Let's see. First question I have: did we get a meeting scheduled with the residents at 210 to discuss the project?
No, ma'am. As right now, we don't have any drawings, so we have no reason to meet yet. Once I get the drawings back from the engineer, we'll work on that. Yes, ma'am.
So at a 210, are we still have like 140 something out, 147? Have you gotten any in since the last meeting? Okay, so we're moving, but you still need time to be able to have the meeting.
I don't have any drawings or any designs from the engineer yet for the bank stabilization, so nothing to meet for at this time.
Okay. So is it best that we just leave that table till we get where you can get the residents in and meet with them? There's a motion on the agenda about that. That's tabled.
The eminent domain and negotiation, no, ma'am, that's for several projects, not just the bank stabilization one that you're referencing. That's all the projects we have: Turnberry, Kaliki, Colo Court. All those require easements.
So I know you have drawings on most of those. So we had a chance to have a meeting with the drawings that you do have.
I met with residents out at Turnberry about that. I haven't met with anybody. I don't have anything on Colo Court at this time, and Kaliki's already underway. I mean, I can meet with residents on that one, but it's already started, and I believe I only need one easement on that one.
So the ones, what project you need the most on, the easements and the right-of-way?
The bank stabilization. Like I said, we don't have any drawings on that at this time.
Do they have a sketch on how it's going to look?
No, ma'am.
That should be very simple.
It was presented at the meeting 2 meetings ago,
Mhm.
and that's all we have at this time.
Okay, that may not be difficult for them to get a cross-section on so they can see it and see the width.
They're working on it. They put that one probably a little bit on the back, as we've got to get these ARPA projects taken care of first.
Okay, the changes to the ball field agreement, the use of the Noma Drive ball fields. I see you did amend. We had 19 rules. We've gotten it down to 15. So did we go through that and change everything that we had?
Well,
if I may address that. No, we didn't change everything because I was not in agreement
Okay.
for some of the reasons that he mentioned. I'll give you an example. He had an issue with number 11 and 12, which both reference tents. Number 11, no tents or canopies permitted on ball fields. Number 12, any easy-up tents or canopies must use sandbags and weights. And he felt like, at the time, I believe, that was contradictory, but it is not, in fact, because one deals with the ball field and one deals with the viewing grounds.
Right.
So those are two different things. And also, we made just a few changes that we saw that in our efforts to get this out quickly, we had a few typographical issues and other things such as changing shoes to appropriate footwear, because that was an issue. But overall, the content did not change because we had reached out to multiple cities in the area and used their ball field agreements.
I noticed 2, 3, and 4 is gone. No personal coolers.
I don't have the former one in front of me,
Okay.
so.
Well, I was gonna say 2, 3, and 4 are gone now. That got my concerns. So, I mean,
Okay. I was going to say, I just can't remember what 2, 3, and 4
I have the
were.
old one and the new one is why I
Okay.
asked, and it is on the table, so I wanted to see where you were with it.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
the Jex Lighting Project, where are we with that? Because we're still out there in the dark.
Engineer says he hopes to have something to me next week, so we can get moving on that one.
And is this cost going to be where we can get 3 quotes, or is it an advertised to bid project?
I don't know yet. We
Still
don't have an
without-
OPC.
Okay. On the agenda is to let the police cars be used, and I'm assuming we got the rate for the police cars per hour to be used out on the highway to help with the interstate project, the widening project. Who is going to pay the officers, and where are the officers coming from?
That is a direct contract between them and the contractor.
Is it Diamond Head officers, I guess is my question.
Mayor, it'll be Diamond Head and
Head
county officers.
Okay.
When Diamond Head officers are used, they're working on their own time and they're being paid for off-duty work assignments, so they're being paid directly by the contractor. The city is being reimbursed $10 per hour for the use, gas usage and everything with the vehicles, since the city owns the vehicles. So it's 2 separate agreements, but the officers are paid directly by the contractor, and the city will be reimbursed monthly for the use of the vehicles monthly.
And my concern, which I guess that is addressed, would be, I know most officers know their cars, they know how they're kept, they know where everything is in them. So if it's the same officers, then that makes life a lot easier for me to agree to it. But if it would be different people, that would be,
And I don't know. I mean, that's between the officers and the contractor. My understanding, and the chief's not here, but my understanding is those officers can sign up for different slots based on their schedule. So that's my understanding, and it gives them an opportunity to earn extra money when they're not working. So
okay, the drainage in the area over by Ala Moana and that area, did you say that was coming up? Because that'd be Cayley and that area. Mhm.
Is a drainage project we do have, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Where are we, where are we with that?
Let's see, as far as Alamoana, those areas,
Yes.
that is under Jason Kenichi's working on that one with Kenichi Engineering. He's trying to get the surveying done right now, as best at least that's the last thing he told me, but I'll get with him to see where the update is.
Okay, I had a resident ask about that today. All right, Councilman Cumberland?
Yeah. John, we're bidding on rebidding the Noma Drive boat launch on the 11th. Is that right? April, that's the day we're going to advertise to bid on. And
Yes.
Is it a 60-day before we get the bids in?
I think it's 45 for
45.
construction jobs like that, yeah, after
Okay.
the bids or after the second advertisement.
Did they give any indication about how long that process would take once the project started? I know it's kind of early, but no.
I'm not sure. I don't remember what their anticipated time was. Probably no more. I won't even guess, probably 120 days, but I said I wouldn't guess, but anyway. I
You
did
weren't going to
anyway.
guess.
I did anyway. But
Probably
I'll
won't have
check
it
and
this
make sure.
summer, though.
Yeah, yeah. The main thing is building that pier and rebuilding the boat ramp. Those are the two major parts of the project.
Yeah.
And they've got to, build a wall around the fishing, or around the boat ramp so that they can have dry land to work off of. So that's going to be the interesting part to start with.
Just want to thank you guys. I know that you have to prioritize a lot of projects, and I think you do a really good job at that. Thank you.
Councilman Lisi?
No, thank you.
No, ma'am.
All right. Moving on to public comments. First, we have Leo.
Yes, ma'am. I spoke to y'all last week about the table item. I said it's back on the agenda. And he explained some part that they don't have the maps yet. And until they get the maps, I think it ought to stay tabled. That until everything comes in, where the people know just what's gonna happen. Now, some people may have signed it, some people may not, I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, I wanna see what's gonna happen. So when he gets the maps, I'll be glad to look at them. And then, other than that, I think it needs to stay tabled. Or take out this eminent domain. You get more people with sugar than you get, with, what I use for vinegar. And the way I look at it, he's putting vinegar before the sugar. That's all I have to say right now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rod?
Good evening, everyone. It's the same thing as what Leo was talking about, the 2024-073. It's mostly for the people on Iona and Kiko Street. Could that portion be taken out of the eminent domain until we've had our meeting? I understand you said there's other eminent domain that y'all need to go through with everything. Could you just see about holding that back or taking it out when you do have your discussion about it? And see if maybe, like he said, it'd be a lot easier for us to stomach if we know what's going on rather than having it thrust at us. And that's all. Thank y'all.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bill?
Bill Atkinson, 898 Callao Place. Want to speak about the rental agreement for the Noma ball fields. Just in general, I think that the rules and procedures should only go so far as to protect the city interests and not to dictate behavior. That being said, just individual items. Number 4, the lessee or designated representative must be on site. I'm really not sure how that designation would happen, whether it's just, Joe, why don't you watch for me, and nobody knows what that is. As far as number 8, no glass bottles or alcoholic beverages, I don't think that this is anticipating future uses of the ball fields as far as like adult flag football or musical concerts, things like that. And the city does have alcoholic beverages for several events, and I think that an individual using that ball field should have the right to be able to serve alcoholic beverages. Then as far as activities shall be concluded by 10 p.m., I don't know what the reasoning is behind that. For instance, if there is a musical event that's booked there, that I don't see why that should be there. And then as far as rules, number 1, the overnight parking prohibition, I don't see why that is necessary to protect the city interests. Number 2, no weapons, including but not limited to firearms, barbecue grills, or other cooking apparatus. I'm not sure how barbecue grills are firearms. Are weapons, which it says in number 2. Number 4 says, with exception of service dogs, no pets or animals are permitted. There's dogs that are allowed on a lot of activities through the city, and I don't see the real reason for that. As far as number 11, no tents or canopies permitted on the ball fields, but they are allowed on the viewing areas. What exactly is the viewing area? Because a lot of times, kids, when they're playing, they need to have like a tent near their bench. So where exactly is the viewing area? Does the ball field end, and where does the viewing area begin? So I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. And that concludes the public comments tonight. Moving on to the minutes, could I get a motion to approve the March 19th, 2024 regular meeting minutes?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Clark. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilmember Lisi. All in favor? Aye. Can I get a motion to move from the table 2024-072, motion to approve the procedures and rental agreement for the Noma Drive ball fields?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Lisi. All in favor? Aye. Could I get a motion to approve the procedures and rental agreement for the Noma Drive ball fields?
Move.
Motion made by Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilwoman Lisi. Any discussion, Finley?
No, ma'am.
Any discussion, Lisi?
I just want to ask legal, so you're comfortable with this, the way it is, after you've made your edits?
I am.
Okay, and you've talked to other cities and looked at what they have, and we're in line with what other people are doing?
Yes, I will concede that there should have been a semicolon instead of a comma with regard to weapons and barbecue grills. But other than a semicolon, I'm very comfortable with this.
Okay, and if for some reason we didn't approve it, what would that do to the upcoming sports seasons? And like,
The current youth sports league wants to start flag football here in May, at the end of May, but they do need to start practicing probably mid-April.
okay, I'm
So-
going to vote for it because I don't want to hold up youth sports at all. So, thank you for your work on the lease.
Thank you.
Councilman Cumberland?
No, ma'am.
Councilman Clark?
No, ma'am.
And I definitely don't want to hold up youth sports because last year it almost got canceled. I do have one question. The youth football league, they use they have a Blackstone griddle thing that they use to cook the burgers on. Is that considered a barbecue grill? A Blackstone, what do you call? A griddle?
Griddle.
Well, I think the issue more than anything is fire.
Mhm.
So if the griddle isn't operated with fire, like a barbecue grill would be,
Oh,
then
okay.
I don't think that's an issue.
Okay. All right, that makes sense, because that's how they cook their burgers. Just wanted to make sure they could still cook their burgers. All right. All in favor? Aye.
Mayor,
Mhm.
we have 3 more items on the table matters that we just skipped over. Are we going to address those?
The first two, probably not, but are you ready on 4?
I'm ready on all 3 of those. I know the first 2 have been on there for quite some time, I'm sure.
Something has come up today on the first 2 that I need to get with legal on first.
Okay.
All right. So now I get a motion to move from the table 2024-073, motion to adopt resolution 2024-011, authorizing Cusick and Williams PLLC, city attorneys on the behalf of the city of Diamond Head to negotiate acquisition of drainage utility easements and to prosecute suits for eminent domain pertaining to the projects listed herein. This is a motion to remove it from the table.
Move.
Motion made by Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Now, this is a motion to move. Motion to move to adopt Resolution 2024-011, authorizing Cusick Williams PLLC, city attorneys on behalf of the city of Diamond Head to negotiate acquisition of drainage utility easements and to prosecute suits for eminent domain pertaining to the projects listed herein.
So move.
Motion made by Cumberland, second.
Second.
Second by Lisi. Discussion starting with Cumberland.
Yes, I'm going to start with legal. I had a discussion earlier. I mean, we need this quickly, as soon as possible. It's going to start causing problems if we don't pass it. But there are some concerns with the eminent domain. And if we were to ever get in a very unlikely situation that would happen, how much notice would we have on the council before something like that took place?
Yeah, that's a good question. And as you guys know, the city attorneys, the city of Diamond Head, since we've been city attorneys since 2014, has not conducted an eminent domain. It is not our first choice. So but if in the unlikely event we have to, what this resolution does is statutorily sets us in the right path for doing everything proper, so that if we have to get to that unlikely eventuality, we've done everything statutorily right to get to that point. So to answer your question directly, how much notice? This will allow us to start the process, to start negotiating with folks. Some folks may volunteer just to give us the easement, and in that we've seen that happen in the past. In other instances, we will get appraisals of properties. We've gotten one appraisal kind of the city. We know what we pay in different areas of the city per square foot for easements. We're going to get, this authorizes us to get that second appraisal, which we need statutorily, and then authorizes the city attorney, city manager to negotiate with folks. So if there's 800 square feet that the engineers have decided, hey, this is what we need here, and the appraisal higher of the two says we can pay $1.50 a square foot, that's what we offer them. If the property owner for some reason has some particular heartburn about it, we also have other options. We can go back to the engineer and say, hey, if this property owner really has a problem here, is there another way we can do it? That gives us that option as well. As a last resort, where the engineers tell us, hey, there's no other way we can do this, we need this. We have an obligation to work on drainage and make sure and maintain drainage in this city. We have to have this in order to do it. We've got all these other 100 properties, and this one property is saying, no, my property's worth $10,000, you're not having it, and where we would need to have that as a tool in our belt. What we would do and how it would work is I would come to you all and say, hey, in this instance, Resident Smith, we've negotiated, we've tried, we've worked with the engineers, we haven't been able to get them to redesign it. They won't accept our offer. I'll give you guys it's not going to happen tomorrow, it's not going to happen next week, it's probably not going to happen next month, but with respect to some of these ARPA projects, as John explained, we'll have to have some of these under contract by August. So if we do have to do it, I will be coming to you in a council meeting and say, hey, with respect to Mr. Smith's property, we've tried this, you've authorized us to do all this, we've reached an impasse, we're recommending moving forward with eminent domain. So you guys will have, before any suits are filed on behalf of the city, as I update you anytime we file suit, you all will know it. So I know that was a long way of getting to your answer, and that was your question, how long will this take? But that's kind of it.
Will we have the opportunity to say no at that point?
You will.
Okay.
So, ultimately, as you guys file suit, if suit is filed on your behalf, it's going to take council approval. So, again, this gives us the tools, this gives us statutorily the framework to do that. The reason why we laid it out like this with respect to all the current drainage projects, and as I think back, we probably should have included some of the road projects that we may have in the new downtown area. We may be coming back to you for that. But we laid it out all in one, so we didn't have to come back to you on each specific projects. Obviously, there's, as we know, there's a priority here with respect to projects. Timeline, which ones are done first, which ones, So some of these, as some of the residents have said, we don't even have the final easements identified. We're obviously not moving forward on eminent domain on those properties when we don't even know what we need yet. So those projects will be towards the end. We will be meeting with those residents prior to ever discussing eminent domain. So I just wanted you all to kind of to know that.
Thank you.
Lisi?
Thank you. So, in the past, historically, when we've done projects before, has eminent domain been part of the equation? And did you ever have to use it?
No, we have not. We have not. We have not even gotten to the point where we've even asked for a resolution like this. And the reason is, as we've had one or two properties here or there, we've been able to either work it out with the property owner, stay within the easement. Y'all will remember we did a Comey Drive project that impacted hundreds of residents. We stayed within the easements where we could. One of the problems, though, that we've learned now is that's one of the areas where we need to kind of redo it. So one of the things that the engineers have come to us is they're recommending, you know, look, we've got to, the ditches are not in where the easements say they are. So there's an argument that could be made that we really have a prescriptive easement already. We've been a city for over 10 years. We've been using it as drainage. We could go to people and say, hey, we already own it. We're not taking that step. We're not taking that action. But we do have an obligation. If there is a ditch, we've got to be working it. We got to make sure it's not damaging other property. We have sewer lines, water lines going through some of these ditches that are eroding. We have properties that are eroding. The city has a legal obligation to be working on this. We finally have some money to do it. We got some county money. We've got some ARPA money. We're getting aggressive in doing this not as a piecemeal project here, project there, but as a kind of a comprehensive way. And that's why we're doing it this way now, because we have so many properties that are going to be impacted.
And so if we were to amend this and maybe take out eminent domain, how does that look going forward cost-wise?
We're going to have to come back to you each time that for each project, each piece of property, get this authority again, do a new resolution for each one. You're going to have delays, you're going to have time. I'll be coming back to you with specific projects, but we will not have to go through the whole resolution and start the whole process over of asking for authority, asking for appraisals, asking to negotiate and do all that. This will already be in place, and we'll just be coming to you with okay, Smith project, give us the authority, we're ready to fight. Here's what we've done, give us the authority to do it if we need it.
And like you just said to John, we can say no at that point.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, you all can say no.
So we're not giving you carte blanche to just go take everyone's property?
No, ma'am.
And again, we've never had to use it before, so hopefully it wouldn't even come to that this time. But if we don't get moving on these drainage projects, we're gonna have a problem. Okay, thank you.
Councilman Finley?
Based on clarification from the council that the council must approve and time constraints, I am satisfied.
Councilman Clark?
I agree with all that.
Okay, my comments on this, and I've done this for many, many years, is we're moving too fast with the eminent domain. We're moving way too fast putting that on there. There's a lot of projects. When you have 210 letters sent out and 147 still out, then people are concerned and they don't know what's going on. They're concerned. We see it on Facebook. You're taking my property. You know, they're very upset. So I feel we need to put the brakes on the eminent domain. A lot of money's going to be spent on you all working on the acquisitions, on you working on, I worked on the promenades. I know there's a lot of money being spent. Working on getting the easements, getting the appraisals done. I feel if we take off the eminent domain and let the residents know, hey, we're going to work with you every way we can. We need the drainage easements. We need to get the projects moving forward. But first, they need to know what's going on. They need to have the meeting. They need to see the ditch. They need to see where the ditch is located, how it's going to impact their property, what type of bank stabilization is going to be used on it. All of this is unclear. It's unclear to the city manager. It's unclear to me because I don't know what they're using. I don't know how much you're taking, and I hadn't seen one letter, so I don't even know what the letters say. So I'm ready to move if we take off the eminent domain, let the city manager have a chance to work with the residents, let the city attorneys be going ahead and working on negotiating the acquisitions. And I feel if we do this and we make it clear, you're probably going to get 90% or greater to agree. They know that we're going to work with them. We're going to do everything that we can to move it forward. And that's how I strongly feel. All right. Any other discussion? City Clerk, roll call.
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mayor.
No. Could I get a motion to move from the table 2024-079, a motion to approve insurance renewals, policies for the period April 8th, 2024, April 8th, 2025 through Cadence Insurance. For property insurance through Velocity and the same amount of $28,355, Inland Marine through Ascot Insurance in the amount of $17,516, equipment breakdown through Hartford Steam Boiler in the amount of $1,035, and general liability in the amount of $17,620, and public officials liability in the amount of $12,392, both through Travelers, the Charter Oak. Business auto in the amount of $44,174 through Travelers Property and Casual and Crime and Cyber in the amount of $10,133 through Travelers Casualty and Security for a total annual premium of $131,225. Motion to move from the table.
Move.
Motion made by Cumberland, second.
Second.
Second by Lisi, all in favor? Aye. A motion to move on 2024-079.
So moved.
Motion made by Cumberland, second.
Move. Second.
Second made by Finley, all in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 2024-084. Motion to adopt Resolution 2024-016 for intergovernmental transfers of assets to the County Board of Supervisors. Motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Clark, second.
Second.
Second made by Lisi. Any discussion, Councilman Clark? Any discussion, Lisi?
No.
Finley?
No, ma'am.
Cumberland?
No, ma'am.
City Clerk?
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Resolution 2024-086, motion to adopt Resolution 2024-017, thereby acquiring by donation Lot 7, Block 1, Unit 10, Phase 2, from Diamond Head Country Club and Property Owners Association, Inc., for drainage and green space purposes. Motion?
Motion.
Motion made by Clark, second.
Second.
Second made by Lisi. Councilman Clark, any discussion?
No, ma'am.
Lisi?
No.
Finley?
No, ma'am.
Cumberland?
No, ma'am.
City Clerk?
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. 2024-87, motion to adopt Resolution 2024-018, thereby amending Ordinance 2019-2-003, procedural ordinance under presentation agenda by moving council comments to below public comments on agenda items, and to add council closing comments to follow public comments on non-agenda items. Motion?
Move.
Cumberland, second.
Second.
Lisi, Cumberland, discussion.
Yeah, I think this is a good idea because sometimes people come and speak and they don't really get answers, so it gives us an opportunity to speak afterwards and rebuttal. So I think it could be helpful.
Lisi?
Yeah, that was exactly the point. Just, people do come and kind of ask questions during the public comments, and we don't have any avenue right now to answer any of those questions. And I think it's important that, we address those things, right then. So just in an effort to communicate better, as, we all want to do, that was the impetus behind it.
Finley?
Sounds good to me.
Clark?
Good to me.
Okay, so here's my opinion on this, because I've been sitting up here a long time and going to many council meetings. If we want to get the residents, and first, we should already have a list of ways that we're going to better increase communications to the residents. We've been asking for that for a couple of months now. How can we do better to improve speaking with the residents, having their, so that they know what's going on? You look around, and a lot of residents. Are y'all okay over there? Okay. So looking at increasing the residents to be able to see a way to better communicate with residents. If we want to improve the residents coming to the podium and wanting an answer, then we should be answering the questions. Then they know when they come, hey, this is what's going on, here's the answer. If this was to move in that direction, then I'd be for it. City Clerk?
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mayor.
No. Consent agenda. Could I get a motion to approve items 10 through 13?
Move.
Motion made by Finley, second.
Second.
Second made by Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Action agenda item 2024-088. Motion to concur with Planning Commission recommendation to deny Lamosse Thompson Jr.'s application requesting a variance from the zoning ordinance, Article 4.19, to allow the construction of an accessory structure within 10 feet of the principal residence. The property address is 7336 Anella Place. The tax parcel number is 0684-3-41-090.000. The property is in R2 zoning district. The setback from the principal residence is 8 feet. The variance requested is 2 feet. The case file number is 2024-00069. So the motion is to concur with denial. Can I get a motion?
Move.
Motion made by Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilwoman Lisi. Finley, you want to start discussion? Or do we want to get Mr. Pat Rich up here to give us a briefing?
I've read, I don't, I've read enough about it.
Okay. Who seconded?
I did.
Any discussion?
No, I've read about it also. I'm
Okay.
familiar. Thank you.
All right, Councilman Cumberland?
No, ma'am.
Councilman Clark?
No, ma'am.
Okay. With that being said, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Could I get a motion to approve the docket of claims DKT 23163, DKT 231613, DKT 231636 in the amount of $214,369.09. Motion?
Move.
Motion made by Finley, second.
Second.
Second made by Clark. City Clerk?
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi,
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Mayor.
No. Did you get my yes on that last answer? Because I don't remember saying yes.
Y'all, you didn't call for a vote, so.
Okay, as yes. I was a yes. Okay. On that last one. Is there any need for executive session? All right. Could I get a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Motion made by Cumberland, second.
Second.
Second made by Clark. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
You all have a wonderful week, and don't forget the community yard sale Saturday. We have